Welcome to another interesting edition of the Market Review, where we bring you key developments in the financial and capital market as relates to the economy. Today, we'll be looking at the pensions industry. And of course, you know that that's one very critical industry in the whole financial and capital market ecosystem. We've not really discussed much around that, and that's why today it's come to the fore. And we're looking at prospects for a robust pension industry in Nigeria. With me to have this conversation is Mr. Tunji Andrews, is the co-founder of Awabah, a digital pension platform that has been doing remarkable work in the country. And recently, some very interesting news stories came from that platform. So we'll be looking at the broad industry and the prospects. It's nice to have you on board. Good morning, Mr. Tunji Andrews.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes, Mr. Tunji Andrews, it's been a while, and interesting to see you being part of these initiatives to deepen our pension industry in Nigeria. And before we begin this very interesting conversation, let's give you a wrap-up of what happened last week in the capital markets. First, of course, the fact that the Nigeria Exchange Group celebrated 60 years of enabling Africa's largest economy, Nigeria, as a leading integrated market infrastructure group in the continent. The group officially commenced operations on 25th of August 1961 as the Lagos Stock Exchange after it was founded on 15 September 1960. In commemorating the Diamond Jubilee, the group chairman of the NGX Group, Mr. Tumba Abimbola Gumbanjo, paid tribute to the original subscribers of the Articles of Association that gave birth to the Nigeria Exchange Group. Also last week, Lafarge Group was commended by the CEO of Nigeria Exchange Limited, Mr. Temi Popola, for demonstrating the commitment to adopting sustainable business practices in their activities. This was expressed at the facts behind the sustainability report presentation that held last week. Lafarge Africa is part of the companies quoted on the Nigerian Exchange Group that has been committed to sustainability practices and reporting in the country. We'll take a break, and when we return, we'll have this very interesting conversation around pensions.
The ProShare mobile app, your non-stop access to financial and economic information. With the ProShare app, you can customize your preferred news and videos. You can also get access to latest financial and economic news. Watch videos related to business, economy, financial markets, and lots more. The ProShare app gives you in-depth market stats from the NSE, FMDQ, and NASD. That's not all. You also get real-time alerts. The ProShare mobile app. Information at your pace and in your space.
Welcome back. And if you're joining us on the Market Review today, we're discussing prospects for a robust pension industry in Nigeria. My guest is Mr. Tunji Andrews. He's the co-founder of Awabah, a digital pension platform firm that has been doing interesting things in the industry. So, Mr. Tunji Andrews, picture yourself. In 2004, we had the reforms on the pension industry and Act, and of course, that has led us to a lot of evolution, transition, transformation, and today we can say that the assets that is being managed in the pension industry is now about 12.5 trillion naira. I don't know where you were in 2004, but how would you describe this remarkable transformation and the gains of the 2004 reform?
I think I clearly remember where I was in 2004. I was in the Ojo regions of Lagos, in the Lagos State University. Okay. But it must be said that the pension industry has come leaps and bounds from the place where people were, unsure if they were going to get their pensions. There was always the conversation of queuing up, revalidation, pension money getting missing, to this watertight system that PenCom and its stakeholders have been able to create. It's kudos to every single person that was involved in creating the enabling laws and also in implementing those laws. We've grown to such a pace where the pension industry is probably the most envied in the Nigerian economy right now. Even oil doesn't seem to have the stability that the pension system has. So it's something to be excited about. And a lot of the time, I do say that whatever we did with pension, maybe we should copy and paste and do it sectors like, electricity, and the rest. And if we can see that kind of growth, I think the Nigerian economy will be better for it.
Yeah, a very interesting part of it is that a stakeholder responsibility in the industry, because you've seen that stakeholders are playing a very big role in the industry, taking care of pension assets, pension funds, and of course the regulatory processes are there, and they're very, very conscious, particularly when it has to do with investing pension funds. A former minister said, a current minister, I meant to say, said if it is possible, they shouldn't even touch their pension money. But of course, he was just emphasizing the fact that it's important that any infrastructure that would require pension investment has to be thoroughly assessed, going towards scrutiny. But of course, like you rightly said, this is one of the success stories of Nigeria's Fourth Republic and can be replicated in other places or sectors. But you talked about the success. Let's look at the regulatory environment. Has it created the opportunity to catalyze economic growth in the country through the pension industry? I said, in developed countries, I know you also are a financial analyst, you cover developments across the globe too. You have a lot of exposure and analysis on this. You've seen industries or economies like France, in UK, even the US, seeing what the pension firms are doing. What can we do more in terms of regulations to catalyze growth in the economy?
I think we're really ahead of our time. Honestly, if you look at it, the pension industry is not yet 20 years old. Mm-hmm. If I'm 2004, we're not yet in 2024 yet, so it's not yet even 20 years old. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the times we want to look and compare it with pension industries that are 100 years old, some of them over 50, and one of the things I can remember, even long before I came into this space, one of the things I've always heard from the regulator is that sentiment of the first point of concern is to make sure that people who have saved money, when they do retire, they are able to access their money intact. Everything else is what you would build upon as an industry normally. So you look at the conversations around areas that you can invest pension funds in. Some 7-8 years ago, it was very tight. Today we have some, more relaxed, conversations. The regulator continues to ask for more and more products that can be invested in, and of course the regulator is one that will go through with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that it is the kind of investment portfolio that is worth pension funds. For me, I think one of the things we should always look at the pension system is, one, it is young. Two, it is well ahead of its time, especially in terms of contribution, number of contributors, the robustness and the stability of the industry. It's one that, we should all be proud of as Nigerians, but it's also one that we should also remember. I think the success is what makes people forget that the industry is actually just under 20 years old. Maybe if it wasn't this successful, everybody will remember that, but it's just under 20 years. And with time, we will start to see more, diversification in terms of portfolios. Now, when we started, we had one fund. As of today, we have 5 different funds. Yeah. We're growing. We're getting more robust. There's conversations around, how people can use their pension funds to go into real estate. That's still a long conversation down the road, but it started to be had. And for me, I think that is where we should start to look out from the conversation from the perspective of, first things first, if I'm saving my money, I know I will meet my money when I retire. Everything else is for me to just make it more robust and be more actively involved in my pension conversations. And I think the regulator is doing a lot of work in that area.
Yeah, I mean, you share the same sentiments of the current minister that when I retire, I meet my pension after saving for many years. But it's good to know that from one fund, we've seen the diversification, and that's what you call the progress that is required in industries like that in the financial system. But let's look at the innovative ways of deepening pension penetration in the country, particularly areas like micro-pension. And this is where we bring in Awabah. I mean, it was an interesting story we got that you have been accepted When you get this kind of stories, it's quite encouraging that great things happen in Nigeria. Techstars London Accelerator program accepted Awabah into its program, and that was published on ProShare alongside other various news platforms. And this, of course, is a positive story. You have looked at micro pension services, making it available to the informal sector, because it's been said that micro pension has the ability to further deepen the industry and penetration in Nigeria, particularly the informal sector, which of course over the years, you've been also in the industry, you've seen the analysis that the informal sector plays a major part of the economic activities. Being aware of our biggest growth since 2014, which we discussed before this conversation around the economic growth. This again is another way of deepening inclusive economic growth in the country. If you can speak further to how Awabah and of course how the industry players can really innovate through technology and also leverage micropension.
All right, so I think we need to, for me as a person, I've always looked at the conversation from the lens of a Nigerian. And yes, national savings percentage is a great thing for you to increase it. It's also important because we have about 35 million Nigerians as of today who have one sort of economic activity or the other. I'm talking about your Uber drivers, your keke riders, your market women, your freelancer who are doing hairdressers who are doing all sorts of economic activity but do not have any pension savings. And one of the conversations is that their ability to earn is directly tied to their ability to go out on a daily basis to earn that money. So it's tied to their energy. The less energy they have, the less ability they have to earn money, which is a problem. Because I mean, if you want to look at it from any way, you realize that a lot of people who get to that point of retirement, 65 and above, will be plunged into poverty immediately after they are not able to earn anymore because of old age. So the conversation now starts with, we've started from the point where it's clear we need it. The second question is, how do we then sell it to Nigerians? You realize that this is not even a Nigerian thing, it's an African context where children are seen as the retirement plan of anybody. So the idea is you even hear a Nigerian father say something like, I'm training you so that you take care of me. Exactly. Yeah. But you see, the conversation in other parts of Africa has always been to try and rubbish this thinking. And we at Awabah, we see that the thinking might not be robust enough, but it is not a bad thing. Children are our heritage in Africa. We see children as our heritage. Every mother wants to be able to boast about good children. And good children are those ones that will take care of their parents. Either ways, when you like it or not. But there is a conversation to be had. You see, we realize that people who know better actually do better. It's a factor of life. So if the people who are in these spaces realize that with as little as 500 naira, 500 naira a month, 1,000 naira a month, can just put something aside, a little aside, and it would enjoy compound interest plus very competitive interest rates. The pension industry experiences some I think for 2019, the industry average was 9.01 for the fund one, I think. Now you look at it from the perspective of the fact that if they were to put that money under their mattress, it would not enjoy any interest. It would just be there. And the factor is that once they're able to put it in this savings, it is safe, it is robust, it helps them to be able to better plan retirement age. So the question is, how do you then sell it to these people? And those are some of the things we've been able to start doing with Awabah. It is the factor where we've closely tied financial literacy and financial education to the product of micropension. So it's not a case where we can just go to a market, for instance, like Trade Fair, and say, hey, just buy this micropension. the first question they're going to ask you is, what is micropensions? It's a different issue if you're going to ask them, we want to sell banking. It's, you have to, first of all, help them understand the robustness of micropensions. And then you can now start talking about savings. But we've started to see other things. It's one thing for them to register for the micropensions system, is another thing for them to contribute. So we're building innovative ways for you to be able to build your micropension savings into your lifestyle. There's a product we have, we call it Spend to Retire, where with one of our debit cards, you could go anywhere to merchants outlets across the country. Every time you spend, you earn points. Every single time you use that card, you earn points, and those points are turned into Naira and is put into your micropensions account. Also, with this card, every time you make a purchase, if you decide that a small percentage is taken aside and put into your micropensions account. We're trying to build micropensions into people's everyday living, so that it's not something that they are thinking of at the end of the month and thinking, oh, I have to, put aside this 300,000 Naira or this 50 Naira or this 200 Naira. Let it be something that it is on the go. Every single day, every single time you move, every single time you make a payment, you're preparing for your retirement. So somewhere at the back of the psyche of the average Nigerian and the people we're conversing with is that we want them to see pensions as a living, breathing organism, just the same way they relate with their banking. We want them to relate with their pensions in the same way. We see that it's a long way. It's a very long way. We cannot even deceive ourselves. The pension industry, micropension industry right now, the number of active contributors is still under 100,000. You want to compare that to the 14 million, which are in the CPS system. So we still have a long way to go. But I can tell you that the work has started. And we can only get better.
Yeah, in terms of your outlook for the pension industry, definitely, from what you say, micro pension is going to be the big game changer. Apart from micro pensions, what are we seeing in terms of collaborations? Because in the insurance industry, I've seen something interesting. Some insurance companies are even collaborating with telcos so that they can make insurance very accessible, affordable, and you can just connect to mobile and reach out to the youthful population. The millennials are playing a very key role there.
So we are taking it a step further. We're taking it a step further. We've already started conversations with, like you said, the telcos, which have some of the largest reaches in Nigeria. We also are employing the agent banking model, which has this ability to go into the interlands. So you could go to any of the agent bankers which are connected to service providers in any way, and you'll be able to make your payments in very simple steps. Now, you see, the beautiful thing about it is that there is so much to be done. There is so much. We can make pensions anything we want it to be. You see, so the telcos is a very great way. It's an awesome way. You could do it off USSD, and that helps you. But you see, we want it to be in such a way that it's at the point of call at where they are having their economic activity. So if they are Okada riders, for instance, we should be able to meet them at their Okada park. We should be able to have presence there. That's where the agent bankers come in. If they are in a cooperative, we should be able to meet them at their cooperative. You see, the conversation can't be entirely leave them to it. We should be able to continuously have engagement. So you see, the micropension system is one we have to have relationship with our customers. We would like to be able to have the relationship one-on-one with every single one of them, 35 million of them. But if we can't do that, we can at least do it in clusters where we will have one agent to be able to speak to as many people as possible. So the conversation is about relationship. Technology is fantastic. Technology is beautiful. But if we're thinking inclusion, if we're thinking penetration, if we're thinking reaching the person at the last mile, it has to go beyond the conversations of just deploying technology, because you've deployed the technology. So what next? The person has it on his phone. So what next? The person is going to do start this. What next? Who is the person that is going to hold their hands the first few times, the first 5, 6, 7 times? So you see, that is the problem that I've always seen with deploying technology without understanding the situation of what is on ground. Because this will not be the first time we've seen an innovative insurance product that is deployed by USSD. I think there was one I can remember very vividly. I think the first one I ever heard was in 2010, 11 or so. And you know, it was exciting at the time. But the problem is, yes, it is available on the person's phone, but who is telling the person how to use it? Who is telling the person, who is reminding the person to use it? Who is educating the person and, you know, giving the feeling of community that we're all getting a better life for the future? Who is doing that? We need to be able to do that to make this product living, breathing. We need to be able to help them see the benefits. We need to be able to make them excited about it. It can't just be, take it, this is the product. They need to be excited. They need to be able to, you know, this is the picture I always have in mind. And then this is a picture we took in Ibadan. One of our, we want to call them friends. They gave us this opportunity to reach out to 5,000 of their bike riders, safe border in Ibadan. And, you know, the picture that is on my mind every time I think about, you know, penetration is the picture of a few of the safe border riders, and they were in front of the Awabah banner. And, you know, they were just, you know, throwing signs and like, hey, we're enjoying this. That is the feeling of community that we're trying to build, so that people who are coming to this product are excited about it. Not just, hey, this is something that they said we should do because, no, just do it. We want them to be excited, and that is what we're bringing to the market.
Definitely, it's very important that in achieving penetration for the pension industry in Nigeria, micro pension has become a very, very relevant and key tool reaching out to the informal market. But in achieving that, it's not just about technology, it's about the relationship, and that has to do with inclusion. And then, of course, we can talk about improvement in penetration. And all the same, with the effective regulatory framework and stakeholders continuing to explore ways to collaborate, we can see pension keying into the daily lifestyle of Nigerians. And of course, you know, Nigeria is a big nation in Africa, Africa's largest population, largest economy, and that's how it could spread across other continents. So definitely a lot to think about when we look at the pension industry and how it can be robust, discussions around how micro-pension can improve it. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Tunji Andrews, once again, and of course, for Awabah Digital Pension Platform, your acceptance in the Techstars London Accelerators Program. Hopefully, we'll continue to monitor that and explore other developments in the pension industries and players and how penetration can improve, not just at the national level, but across states and down to rural areas. Hope to have those conversations in subsequent editions. Thank you once again, Mr. Tunji Andrews, co-founder Awabah Digital Pension Platform, for this conversation. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And that'll be all for this interesting conversation on the Market Review Program. If you have questions around pension, how we can achieve a robust pension industry in Nigeria, send your views, comments, or questions to otuabasi.abasikong@prochange.com. That's displayed on the screen, and we would like to respond to those comments, questions, or suggestions. Also, log on to our website, www.prochange.com, and you'll get all the latest news, reports, and developments in the financial and capital market. We also cover the pensions industry. So you scroll on and click on pensions on our search bar. You'll be able to see latest stories on pension, including regulatory activities for the National Pension Commission, PENCOM. Don't forget at this period, you need to stay safe. And of course, in staying safe, you keep on engaging. Thank you for being part of the show. Until next edition, have a nice day.